Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Blockchain Brunch, where the alpha is fresh, the coffee is strong. I literally have 2 cups of coffee today because I did not want to run out of coffee for the meeting. Anyway, the hiring tea is hot, the coffee is fresh. I am Emily, and this week we are diving into what's happening in the Web3 job market, the trends, the talent, and the truth behind who's actually hiring. Thrilled to introduce my partner, Trevor. Trevor, welcome, my friend.
Yo, what's up? Happy
Good to see
Wednesday. Here we are.
Happy Wednesday. I was just
On
telling
another
everybody.
Wednesday. Another
We've
Wednesday.
got
They
2
come
cups
quick.
of
They come
coffee.
very fast. I know. Oh my gosh.
I know.
That's
We're
amazing.
aggressive.
See, you have the biggest cup of coffee in the industry, and I probably have the smallest little cup of coffee in the
I
industry.
know. It's basically the size of my face. We drink a lot of coffee over here. We got to get grinding. We got to be grinding. Always be grinding. Everybody, welcome. So we could talk about a lot of things today. We could talk about job opportunities. We could talk about where to find these. Is my camera off center? Hold on. I feel like it's tilted. Whatever. Love me anyway.
You know, our friend Jeff, he's joining. He should be joining the session. I was chatting with him earlier. He's like, do you know Emily? Remember that amazing desk that she showed? Do you think I could talk to her so I can figure out a little bit more about that? So yeah. you might have a customer for your client there, huh?
I am so passionate about ErgoQuest. Like, you know, what was funny is someone commented the other day, they're like, it's altcoin season and you're shilling ergonomic desks. And I was like, absolutely, I am. I think this company, one, they're family run, small business, really incredible, just an incredible team. I really believe in what they're doing. I believe in the way they help people, and I have their product. It has completely changed my life. No pain, increased focus. I mean, I'm in like a little pod right here. It's incredible.
Hell yeah.
It's incredible. But excited to be here. Guys, if you have a question, leave a comment in the comments. We'd love to help. We'd love to answer.
Stuff going on in the space, like from a user perspective. Like I'm always trying to, be involved in kind of what's new. So shame on me. I really hadn't paid any attention to what Zora is doing on like the base network, right? So it's like this new creator app. And like I was looking at these different tokens and I was just like, why the hell is Zora blowing up right now? And I just thought it was like a meme coin. I'm like, oh, whatever, something just going up 300% in a day. I'm like, it's got to be a meme coin. And then I looked into it. I was just like, oh, no, actually, this is a project that's on and popping right now. So I was playing around with it last night. My friend actually sent me this. I was like, this is actually pretty cool, man. So there's just some like really cool stuff out there. I would definitely recommend anyone that is trying to get into the space or to continue to be prominent in the space is to, be involved with these different communities and try to be a user as much as you possibly can, because it definitely helps you understand like where we are and what kind of advancements are being made in the space. And it's just hella cool, honestly, for me.
I mean, I think using products in crypto is underrated, right? Especially if you're interviewing at a company, download their product, download their app, like use their whatever they're doing, do it, test it, see if you like it, because if you don't believe in the product, you're not going to want to come to work in the morning or do your job. You're not going to be passionate about it. I think a lot of people, they chase salaries, they chase, high level jobs, but they forget that, when you love your job, it doesn't feel like work, and instead of going for the highest salary, go for something that you feel passionate about that's going to keep you going, because passion pushes us forward. Right? Nobody wants to go to work in the morning and hate their job or feel exhausted or, not be passionate. I know I'm saying that word passion a lot, but I just think, when you like what you do and who you're doing it with, it doesn't feel like work to me.
Yeah. And, kind of adding on to that, right? It's like they're saying that it's like you always try to find work that feels like play.
Yeah.
Because when it is like that, right, it becomes fun. It's by no means is it going to ever be easy, but there are people that enjoy running 50-mile marathons. I'm not one of those people. I'm more of a 5K kind of guy, but you know what, I enjoy that. That's my tolerance level. I enjoy that seems fun for me, right? So find whatever it is that is within your means, for sure. But there's a lot of things that you can do in this space. There are so many different ways that you can contribute. And I think that one of the interesting things about this industry is that there have been people that came from very traditional backgrounds, but once they made their way into crypto, blockchain, Web3, they've been able to be more autonomous with their career. And that is because a lot of this industry is still being built, like the planes being built as we fly, right? So things aren't set in stone. And yeah, that lack of structure sometimes can be a little bit difficult, but I think that gives you an opportunity to be on the ground floor of something and really be really involved in building something and making it your own. And I always do say this, that, you know, where you begin in this industry is never indicative of where you will end, for sure.
I agree with you. Mark is making an appearance. You know, it's so funny. You always see the shy cat, but you never see the super friendly one. But she, speaking of desk, loves to just sit on the desk. There's like room for pets. I love it.
And she just hit your mic out the way.
Yeah. She has no respect. No respect. But anyway. So a couple things we can go over today, guys. I'm not seeing any comments. Where are you? I see all these people in the room. Wake up. It's blockchain brunch. How can we help? This is our opportunity to have time with our network, time with our community. You know, work has been really, really busy. So we haven't had time to take on, you know, resume reviews or career advice just because our work is like insane right now. You know, how the crypto recruiters work is, you know, we help our clients find the right team. That's what we do. We help our clients find the right team. And, you know, because we have a true passion for people, you know, we love growing the space. You know, we do our best to accommodate people, you know, even when we're not working with them. But work has been so insane that we haven't been able to do that. So we have people come to Blockchain Brunch so we can still bring value to you, but, you know, we got to work. We got to do our job.
Keep this as like a spilling the beans session, right? So this is something else that I found that was pretty cool. And this helps too, just with me being the nerd that I am in this space. But I've been going and really trying to be more involved in some of the groups, like the official groups for these various projects on Telegram. So, you know, Discord has their own feel, but I've really been finding that, you know, there's a lot of smart people out there. That, with anything, right, there's noise, but there are definitely a lot of smart people in these groups that are contributing a lot of information. Some of it's very highly technical information. Some of it is speculative information. Some of it is just like people that are, I learned a phrase, wallet stalkers. So there are people that look at like these different wallets for a particular project and look at the inflows and outflows and like, oh my gosh, this project is sending like 20 ETH to, you know, Falcon X, or this different project, or Ondo. So they're definitely probably like doing something behind the scenes, or, you know, I remember when so-and-so project was doing a similar type of scenario, or similar transactions were happening before they had like an ETF launch. And there's like a rumors of the particular projects getting like an ETF launch. So there's just so much alpha that you can find out there. And I think it definitely helps you to kind of open your mind, and you can find things that are working for other people that you may not have thought about. And then you can also share back, right? It's always about giving and receiving. It's never about just being the parasite in the room that takes and never gives anything back. So for that valuable information that I was able to find, you know, I was able to do some of my own research, take a screenshot because I was doing research of this particular project on X, took a screenshot of that, threw it in the chat that was on the Telegram group. And then they're like, oh, wow. And then like they were going and starting to follow this other person that was on X. So it's just like all about like trying to build each other up, and, you know, what you get from it. Try to always give back. I always try to take less or give more than I take, quite frankly. So that was just something else that was pretty eye-opening for me. So that's been helpful for me. And even in terms of like recruiting, you know, some of these groups, there's developers there, right? You know, I can go to a project that's highly technical and, you know, look for the person who's talking about Rust or back end, or who's really passionate about this, or who's doing that. And like, I'm not going to go and like approach them the first time I hear them talking about it, but I might send them a message like, hey, you know what? I see that you're really passionate about talking about like Solana, Rust back end, and you seem to be really strong in Rust development. Like, You want to have a conversation, like I'm in the industry, maybe I can be a resource for you, right? So there's so many different ways to build these relationships and just grow and grow and grow in your knowledge. It has to be nonstop. It has to be like, you can't stop. You can never stop learning. You can never stop adding little things to your repertoire. And I know I referenced that last week, but those kind of activities for me, that's my 0.01% of getting better every day. And after a month, I might be 2% better than I was the month before. But over the time frame, if you can get 10% better as an individual, personally, professionally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever you're into, like that's a major change that I don't think should be understated.
10% better every day. Oh gosh, how long was this? 10 years ago, I read this book called The Slight Edge. And I really liked this book because it was a very long book and it was literally like one sentence that was really impactful, but like, that's none of my business. But basically what it taught you, I still read it, was that by doing a little bit extra every day, it gives you an edge, right? So as a recruiter, sending out 3 more connection requests at the end of my day, scheduling 1 more meeting later in the evening, right? This all makes an impact. So I think you can think of job hunting in the same way, right? Give yourself the slight edge in finding a job. When you're applying to 3 jobs, apply for that 4th. When you're reaching out to the hiring managers, send 7 more connection requests, maybe to colleagues at the company. But give yourself the slight edge, go above and beyond. And, you brought up something interesting when it comes to like being a parasite in the room. I think a lot of people forget, yes, this is your job hunt. It is about you, but it's also about the company. The company is the one that is hiring. So yes, it's about you and your career, but you've got to mesh into the company that you're joining. So what I'm getting at is that bringing more value versus taking, right? So in an interview, you don't want to say, hey, explain the company to me. You want to be able to articulate what the company is about, what they do, what their success is, what their failures have been, how they compare to their competitors. So these are all things you want to take into consideration. Don't have the interviewer do the work. Don't have them explain the company to you. Explain the job to you, but specifically the company, the product, and the nuances within the company. You can find all of this online.
And you can also too, like you want to think of them as like you're already. I always kind of tell people to think about this too, like forward mentally project yourself to the place that you want to be, right? So think about like you're not just interviewing this person. Think about like this is your colleague, like they're your actual boss, or they might be someone that's maybe reporting to you, or you may be reporting to them, right? Like what would that day-to-day kind of interaction be like? Would you kind of be weird and back and forth, or would you be like, you know what, I've done the research, I've seen that you guys are trying to solve XYZ problem, I've done the analysis, I can see that we can improve revenue by 3% if we were able to do this, and then I really think that you guys are on the right path, and I love what you were doing in the other team, and I was really impressed with the most recent AMA session that you had. I joined, I was taking some really great notes, and I love this opportunity to have a conversation with you so that we can chat a little bit more about some ideas that I can bring to the table. That's just so much more, like, you're just not boring. Like it seems like you're meant to be there. And if like you can't psych yourself up to have that kind of comfort level, then maybe you need to do a little bit more research. Maybe you need to get to that point where it doesn't seem unnatural for you. You want it to feel like you're chatting with like, and I know it sounds corny and I don't like to say that word, but like your family, right? Or your best friend. So that it's not so combative. It's more like collaborative. And it's just like, think about it as just like, this is your opportunity. 2 great minds in the same space, in the same room, and you're finally able to have that conversation. You've been waiting so long. You've been, doing the exercise. You've been mentally doing the exercise of preparing, doing the research, reading all these blogs, periodicals, looking at, what traditional media is saying about this, looking at what people are saying about the companies, the reviews, and reading the product. And maybe even like we talked about before, if this is a company that you're interviewing, they do have an actual product that is a bit technical. It's great. You could be like, hey, you know what, I'm interviewing for this product role or UI UX design role, and when I went to go do a transfer from, whatever said app, and I tried to connect my MetaMask, I noticed that it was like a little bit laggy and a little bit slower than some of the other things. Like, is this something maybe on the back end or anywhere else that the development team are they even aware of this? Or did you know that our competitors, had a feature that may be a little bit better than ours, or that I feel like it's a little bit more intuitive for me? Could we implement something like that? I mean, this is high level thinking that 99.9% of people aren't doing. Most people go, hi, time for an interview. Okay, 5 minutes before the interview, I'm going to go to the company website. Cardano. What does Cardano do? Okay, great. This is what I'm going to talk about during my interview. You don't know anything else. Everyone knows that. So yeah, just think about like this. Always think outside the box. And if you in your mind are comfortable with that idea, or if it doesn't feel maybe sometimes even as unique or innovative for you, or maybe the people that you're talking to, then maybe you need to step up your level and think outside the box a little bit more.
Let's talk about the interview prep for a second. So we have this whole document. Trevor and I have been working on this. I've been working on this for 10 years. Trevor came in, has been helping me edit this for the last 5 years. Dude, can you believe we're almost at 6 years?
Nuts.
We're 4 months away from 6 years.
Woo.
Anyway, so
that's like 20 years in our industry.
It is. So interview prep. One of the things that I suggest is using AI in your interview, right? So one of the AI prompts you can use is list all the articles, blogs, and videos online where interviewer was a speaker, writer, or contributor for the content. Yes. And then if there's too much to decide from, say, list the top 3 most recent. And then do summarize interviewers' accomplishments as a interviewer's title of interviewer's company. So basically use AI to gain this information about these hiring managers, about these companies, but take it a step further. How many podcasts are there in general? Millions? There's so many podcasts. And that is just far too many podcasts for someone to listen to be prepared for an interview. So how do we get around this? So glad you asked. So let's take the YouTube video that the podcast was recorded on. Let's take our phone and record. Actually, can you integrate ChatGPT? Anyway, record the podcast through the voice on your ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to summarize the podcast.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And some of them even have like transcripts, and like some of them, like I think sometimes videos on YouTube or some of these, like they actually have the transcript uploaded as well too, as like a TXT file or something like that. So like that could be even easier for you if you don't have that capability. Like once again, thinking outside the box, and like we're trying to achieve the same thing but slightly different methods of doing it, right? So that's what I recommend for anyone to do, and have conversations with other people about what are they doing to achieve the same goal. But anyway, you can take that and then put it into ChatGPT and ask for it to summarize the key talking points, all right? Or like, what are some additional key talking points that may be applicative to what I should bring up during an interview? Or if you're a product specialist, right, you say what things brought up in this interview would resonate with someone else interviewing on the product team. Or if I'm interviewing for a product role, what are the things that I should bring up that would be important to the product manager that I'm interviewing with? So these are different things. One of the other things about AI, or not AI, but these LLMs, is that I found that, and this is really interesting because I was just chatting about this with Matt that I had on the podcast earlier in the week, but using different tools, right? So like Claude AI, like that version versus like Gemini, ChatGPT, there's some other ones out there. They are trying to achieve the same thing, but the capabilities and the functionalities are a little bit different. And like, I found that, for Gemini, right, you could take a picture of like a chart. Like I've been playing around with this, right? So like I'll take a 7-day chart, and this is not financial advice, but I'll take a 7-day chart. I'll, take a screenshot of that and put it into Gemini and say like, can you help me understand like what's going on from like a technical analysis standpoint with this project? And it's pretty interesting because I'm by far I'm not a trader. I am definitely a hodler for sure, but it's really interesting for me because like it's starting to help me understand a little bit more about like patterns and signals and things for like that for me to be aware of. So maybe in the short term, I can use that in my own investment thesis, or I can say, I've seen this happen before. I'm noticing these trends in this chart. I don't really freak out with the markets, but it can definitely be something to reinsure. Like, you know what, maybe this is just a short-term thing, or it's probably going to be a rebound. Or, right, if I was trying to create my own technical content or create something on X, I can then use what ChatGPT was able to help me understand more about this from a technical standpoint to implement that into some of the kind of higher level, I would say, philosophical things that I'm thinking about the project. As I mentioned before, I think this was last week, but I've also gone into a particular project, the repos. And I've looked into it and I've actually asked ChatGPT to help me understand what's going on in this code. Or like if I was a developer, what am I trying to achieve with this code? And it blew my mind in terms of what it was able to tell me, but then it helped me to reiterate or to further compound upon my knowledge of what's going on with that company, because I knew from a roadmap standpoint what they were trying to achieve, and just by following them and talking to other people in the community. So it's just like, you want your level of understanding in this industry to be so robust. You want to get to the point where you forget more than most people ever knew. That's the goal, quite frankly. And that's when you're really cooking with gas.
Did you just steal my saying, cooking with gas?
I don't know. Maybe it's growing on me.
I love it. So StreamYard is not showing me any of the comments. So let's call them out in the section. I was wondering, I was like, where is everybody? And it's StreamYard. So that's great. Yeah, StreamYard, if you're paying attention, fix your stuff. So, it's so frustrating. Mohammed, great insights all around. One thing to consider during interviews, pairing pitch decks with a 30, 60, 90-day execution plan or lightweight KPI framework can really help translate vision into measurable value. Also, always be cautious when sharing strategic ideas early on. Protect your IP while showing initiative. I love this comment, and that's exactly what I was going to say. 30, 60, 90, showing the way you think, perfect. Giving away the secret sauce, not ideal. Companies, not every company, but some companies will take that and run with it. Let me send this to voicemail. Okay. So I think that's a great comment. Matthew, I love interviewing and putting people on the spot, not in a bad way, but in a way that will make them think. Totally agree. One of my favorite interview questions that always stumps people is, what is something someone might misunderstand about it? I love this question. And it gives me their weakness without asking for their weakness, because who likes that question? What's your biggest weakness? I don't know. I'm perfect. I'm just kidding. But what is something someone might misunderstand about you is a good interview question for me anyway. Jeff,
you know, one of the most interesting interview questions I've ever had till this day. They asked me, what's your favorite, cats or dogs? And like, there is no right or wrong answer, but it's just to kind of be like, what's your train of thought? Like, what's your argument for why dogs are better, right? What's your argument for why cats are better? It could just be a very like peek into how you're able to think on the spot. And some people will be like, what kind of question is that? Or like, they might just like be taken aback, but like, you got to embrace that and be like, wow, that's a really interesting question. Well, got to be team dogs, right? Or like, it doesn't matter what it is. It's just about how you come at that and just how you're able to think on your feet. So that was and I still don't even know where they learned that from. Like all the interviews, all like over the years, I've never heard anything. Just so it was just very weird, but it was funny as well too. And I kind of went with it. And like at the end of it, we were just kind of both laughing. Then they were like, well, actually, I like cats better, but we're all good. And like, it didn't matter. It wasn't anything about being right or wrong. It was just kind of to see how you can think on your feet.
Yeah, that's an interesting interview question. How do you respond when you like both? Because I've got both.
You gotta say which one. You gotta get which ones, whatever you think. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's such a hard choice, right? It's like, but in business and in life, right, we're sometimes given these things where we have to make difficult choices, or it's a hard choice between one or the other thing, right? And sometimes we may want to have both, but you got to make that choice, right? So I think that was kind of more like what the question was all about to see if you would actually kind of go with it. And some people would just be like, well, I don't know, well maybe cats, or like try to BS it, but like go with your gut and go with your conviction.
I for sure would have failed that question. So, our friend Jeff, this just happened to me. I started off explaining what excited me about working with the company, and the hiring manager told me she was going to ask me for that to start the conversation. Yeah, I mean, go into what you know about the company. If you want something, this is like my favorite life saying. Let me say it deeper. If you want something, make it as easy as possible for that person to give it to you. What do I mean by that? You want the interview, send them your resume, right? Don't just reach out to someone and say, "Hey, I'm interested in the job." The first thing they're going to ask for is your resume. So, if you're going to say that standard, "Hey, I'm interested in the job," attach your resume. You're eliminating one step, right? You're making it one step easier for them to schedule an interview with you. So, yeah, if you want something, make it as easy as possible. If you want the job, make it easy for the hiring manager to know that you know the company, right? So,
And
anyway,
even
that's
better,
like
like Jeff, that's awesome, man. I'm so glad you're implementing some of these tips and tricks into your practice as well too. I know good stuff is coming to you soon, man. One of the other things that you can do is before an interview, find where the interviewer or colleagues are, right? Like, did they just recently have a space? Could you go and comment on that space, or can you use that as a talking point to bring up when you go into the interview? Are they posting constantly on LinkedIn? Could you reshare a post that may be that resonated with you, that's insightful, that's helpful, that can give them exposure? Any of these little things to just like, and people, you better believe companies, interviewers, recruiters, they are stalking your life. They're looking into your profile before they have a conversation with you. So you definitely should be doing at least the same thing, if not more, back, right? Because they're not only interviewing you, you're interviewing the organization as well. You're thinking about this like, I feel like sometimes people kind of think of this like that this job search is a very kind of like transactional kind of thing. Like, no, like you're spending like a minimum of 8 hours of your day. And most likely in this space, it's probably more like 10 to 12, right? Like we only got 24 hours in the day. Then you got to sleep at some point, hopefully. Then you're putting what, 40% of your time into a job. Like you want to make sure it's going to be the right fit. You want to make sure this is like a home. It doesn't have to be a forever home, right? I think the average time in like this industry is like a year and 3 months is like considered to be a long time now. In other industries, that's obviously different, but you still have to make it to that year and 3 month mark. You have to make it to the 6 months. You have to make it to the 9 months. And that's when other people start to be like, yeah, this is serious. They're in it. Or they can handle, the challenges, the ups and downs that come to the space. Because I guarantee you, if you were to work in this industry and you've never been in this industry before, that first quarter is going to be like something that you've never experienced. You'll see market swings, you'll see drama, you'll see controversy, you'll see successes, you'll see failures of other companies, you'll see mergers and acquisitions. Like it's just insane, and it never stops, right? So just always be doing the research and showing how you can bring value. And also too, I think it's just really good to give it like these interviewers, it's your opportunity to show them your unique way of being able to think about something. You're going against a lot of other people. Sometimes like people don't want to hear this, but you may be competing against like thousands of other applicants. Sometimes that's, you might get 1,000 applications for any given job. Like let's say it's a community manager, you're probably getting 1,000 applications every day, let alone like every week, right? So you're going against like tremendous amounts of competition. You have to do all of these little things to stand out. So if you were able to stand out like that 0.01% more than your competition on X, that you're already like, you think of it as like it's like a video game or a test, right? Like a multiple choice test. And for every action that you do, you get a point, right? And your goal is to get 100 points. So putting 5 posts on X a week, that could be 5 points. Now you're getting better, right? Then doing 3 posts, the minimum that they want you to do on LinkedIn, 3 posts, that gives you another 5 points. Then you connected. You went to an AMA. That's another 5 points. You left a comment in that AMA. Now you got 6 points, right? So like all these little things, just think about that and don't try to think so much about the end goal. I would just say focus on the small action that you can do and the repeatable action that you can do, and that makes the journey much more enjoyable, and it makes it much more tangible. Because if you going into it and just saying like I need to break into Web3, and then you start thinking about all the things that me and Emily are talking about over and over again, it can seem daunting and overwhelming. But like start first. Like, okay, if you need to say, hey, Monday's my networking day. All I'm going to do is I'm going to go hardcore networking. Tuesday, that's my job application day. Wednesday is my events day. Thursday is my research day. Friday is my send out my follow up with people day, or whatever it is. If that's not working for you, then the next week, try to switch it up a little bit more, right? Measure the results. If it's working for you, then keep doing it. If it's not working for you, stop doing it. It could be as simple as that, quite frankly.
So the comments are blowing up right now, Trevor. Our friend Sam reached out to me yesterday to have a conversation. Sam, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. So he is leaving the military in November. Thank you for your service. But wants to apply prior to my exit. How soon is too soon? And do you have an average time frames of a typical application for a career in crypto? Love this question. So it is never too early to start applying to jobs. This makes me really sad to say, but we have candidates that have been unemployed for 2 years, like incredible candidates. So finding a job in crypto is not the easiest. There's definitely a very strong barrier to entry. And it could take a lot of time. So if you're exiting in November, I would start applying now, having those interviews and being transparent in the interviews. Hey, being discharged in November, does that align with your timeline for hiring? The right people will wait for you. Right people will wait. Bryce, 8 hours. That's a part-time in startups, dude. I know. I mean, my calendar today, I've been at my desk since 8:30. I go all the way until 8. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie, man. I think I slept 3 hours last night, and it was just like I was just in a flow state. Like you have to understand that happens too, right? Like I'll get the sleep, right? Like I think I do a much better job than I did earlier in my career managing that. But yeah, like I got a few hours of sleep. I'm still here. I'm still bringing the energy, right? Like I had 2 conversations before this. I'm going to have more conversations after this. Like right after this gets done, I always tell this to the people in our audience, but it's just like, do something now. Not like right now. Like as soon as this is done, start implementing this into your workflow. Start implementing this. Like if try it, the worst thing that can happen is that you learn from it, right? You may reach out to someone to get an introduction conversation. They say no. I don't ever take that as a failure. I take that as a learning opportunity. Maybe there was something wrong in my messaging. Maybe I can learn something from that. Maybe it wasn't the right time. One of the best things that I've learned in sales is that, because I had to do this a lot too, and cold calling, it was a different world, but still picking up a phone, calling people. And I remember that like I was, call people. No. Yeah, don't do that anymore. But it was like really something that like it like bothered me at the point. And I was just like, oh, I'm reaching out to all these people and everyone keeps saying no. I keep hearing no, 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 no. And one of my senior recruiters, they were like business development. They were like, Trevor, think of it this way. You're going to hear a lot of no's, but your goal is to hear yes. And statistically, over time, you're going to understand that for every no that you hear, you're going to get a yes. So it might take 20 no's, and then you get maybe 2 maybes, and then you might get 1 yes. And then over time, when you get better and better in your outreach and your sales process, you might get 15 no's to 1 yes or to 2 yeses. Then it might get down to 10 no's to 1 yes. So for me, it wasn't about the no that bothered me, because I knew that as I got through the no's, sooner or later I was going to get to the yeses and the maybes, which was my ultimate goal in the first place. So when I heard no's, I was just like, okay, I just heard 6 no's. On average, I got about 4 more no's and I'm going to get a yes. Like, let's keep going, right? So think about that as well too when you're reaching out. You know, people may not get back to you, recruiters may not respond to you, or you may get what a lot of people call rejections. I think that that's an opportunity that you get. Like, I learned from that. What could be done? Are you maybe selling yourself too short, or maybe you're embellishing something? Maybe you're applying for jobs that truly are outside of your comfort zone, but you know, you're feeling the pressure. You start to feel a little bit desperate. Like, there's all these things that could happen. Maybe it could be that, you know, you're just applying at the wrong time. This recruiter's in the APAC, and you know, their 8 a.m. is your 6 p.m. and you're applying at 8 a.m. every day to a role when they've been on the job for 10 hours. They've already got 400 applicants. They're not seeing your resume. It could just be something as silly as that. Like, understand all these type of things. You have to be able to see the forest, but you also have to be able to see the trees within the forest and differentiate the different types and understand really, like, how can you put yourself in the best situation to win every single day. Every single day.
I want to, so one, the comments are incredible. They're making me laugh so hard. We'll cover those in a second. Hold on.
Are they funny? Are they?
They're really funny. They're really funny, but I want to share something. So something that the crypto recruiters do is we take a lot of care in our rejection letters, right? So if I can't entertain you for a role, I'm going to let you know why. And they're kind of generic answers. I got, how do I want to describe this? Vicious isn't the word, but like, there was a gentleman that DM'd me and he said, I sent him all the reasons that we generically rejected some applicants. And in his example might be limited experience in closing 6 or 7 figure deals, lack of Web3 native fluency, application did not demonstrate a strong understanding of crypto. And he goes, interesting. How did you figure all this out without ever speaking with me? And the email specifically says, we know this letter isn't personalized to each of you. I'm sorry we can't provide more detailed feedback, but we had a high applicant volume and a small team to review them, which is true. His response to me was, I figured I'd call out my experience since I imagine several strong candidates probably got passed on for similar reasons. And I'm like, okay, so are you saying I'm not good at my job? Are you saying I'm not doing my job? And you think that's the approach to take if you want something? Just saying.
It's funny. It's kind of it's interesting as well too. And we were talking about this, right? You know, it's the passion part and the emotion part. Like, there are some, like, for whatever reason, and it's funny because I think that this random meme coin was blowing up earlier in the week, but it was troll, right? And it just made me, it was just so funny for me because, like, for all of the positive aspects of this space, there's just something about the troll. Like, it's something about people that want to troll, or they get like this entitlement, or they the only way they can feel better is by trying to bring down someone else. And like, I literally don't give it any of my attention. Like, I just don't. I look at them and I feel like I feel like a little bit like, oh man, like, you're having a tough day. Do you want to kiss? You want to hug? Like, come on in, friend. Like, come on. Like, what do you want to vent? Like, what's going on? Because it's not me. 99% of the time, it's never the person that they're like lashing out against, or they're going on these, like, you know, chat groups and let's like trashing on the project. And like, I had an interview process and it was horrible. Like,
gets you nowhere.
It gets you absolutely nowhere.
Nowhere.
It makes you look immature. It makes you look unprofessional. It makes you look weak. It makes you look silly. Like, no one cares in this industry. Everyone wants to get in without doing the work. And like, unfortunately, a lot of people think of the job search as if it's like a meme coin investment. Yes, one in every million person is going to randomly shoot their shot, meet at a conference, do not have a resume, know that their friend was a founder that lived next to there and they used to have Slurpees together and Italian ices, and now you got an introduction, you got a job in one of the top Web3 companies. Yep, that happens. It's crazy as hell, but yeah, it's going to happen. But for most people, you have to put in the hard work. For most people, you have to put in the time. You have to go through the ups and downs. You have to go through the disappointments for you to get better and to learn. I look at any kind of setback ever that I've had in life as an opportunity for me to say, okay, I know I might have fallen, or I know that I might have stumbled, but like, am I gonna get back on my feet? It's never about the falling down. It's never about the failure. It's about what your mindset is. How are you going to bounce back from that? Are you going to come back stronger the next time so that you know to look out for that? That there's a little divot in that step, or that when you're going up that step, that step's a little bit creaky. You might want to be more cautious, or use the railings this time, or maybe you can start running up and down the stairs a little bit faster and use these steps. This analogy is like when you're trying to progress through your career. Like every setback can be used as an opportunity to push you forward. Like sometimes it's like a setback is like you're pulling someone in like a slingshot, right? And that setback that's pulling you back, you don't know it at that time, but it's giving you energy, it's giving you power, it's giving you knowledge to pull you back and then literally slingshot you to that next level. And once you get to the next level, you're at the next level, and keep building and keep building and building it. Like, and treat this job search kind of like, and this can be for a lot of other things in life. I don't even know where this analogy came from, but they were like, you know what? Treat it like a video game. And you are the main player in that game. You're not an NPC. You're not a non-player. You're the main character. You're the head honcho. You're writing the story. You're writing the dialogue. You're writing the script. What's going on? All the interactions. You get to choose who are the other people you interact with in that game. You get to choose how long you played that game. You get to choose if you get to, like, every game, right? If you play video games, every level has a final boss. And when you're going through it, that part of your job search, or this kind of objection, this challenge, it could be like that final boss. But then you beat that boss, you go to the next level. When you're the next level, if you were to go back and replay that game again, you fly through the first level. You know every single thing to do when that boss comes at you, throwing fireballs, but you've seen it a million times. You start jumping, no problem for you. You go to the second level, then you beat that boss. The next time you play that game, you fly through level 1, you fly through level 2, and better yet, you might be able to tell other people that are also trying to play the same game, hey, you know what? I played this game before. On level 1, you got to watch out for that final boss. They're going to throw some fireballs. In level 2, it's a water world. You got to watch out for this, and you got to do this, right? Like, so, and that not only helps you, but then it's just helping other people around you. And then you never know that maybe they might go to play that game, or they may have more success at another level of that game. Then they can come back and tell you how to become better at your own game. So, like, have fun with it, be extremely serious, but like, don't put it on a pedestal, right? Like, don't make this the most important thing in life, because at the end of the day, folks, like, there's a lot going on. It's nothing to joke about. We live in a very intense world. There's a lot going on. It's hard out there for people. People are losing jobs. People are getting laid off. Like, depending on where you live in the world, like, you could be in a war zone, right? So, like, at the end of the day, like, is this really the biggest and most important thing out there? Probably not, but I know for a lot of people that are searching for a job, because it is very personal, that it is, right? So, for me, when I'm having tough times, sometimes I literally, and this is kind of a phrase that they throw around in our space as well too, but it's like, you know what? When the markets are going crazy, when I see the market dipping, I literally close out all the apps. I get off of X. I go outside. I take my shoes off and I walk around on grass. I might like stare at a flower for a few minutes and be like, holy crap, like the geometry in this plant is absolutely insane. Like, this golden ratio is going on here. Like, what are these bees doing? Like, what are they up to? Like, I just think about like some of the crazy things that's going on. And then like, that helps me to kind of be like, you know what? Ground yourself. Kind of corny that I was saying that because I was grounding, but ground yourself, get back to it. And then like that, even few minutes can help you reset. And there was another quote that I learned earlier. It was like, sometimes you have to go slow to go fast. And it immediately made me think about like that fable, like the tortoise and the hare, right? Like, and I remember reading that as a kid. I'm just like, how the hell did the tortoise beat the hare? The hare was faster. The hare was like running and flying around. Like, it didn't make any sense, but the tortoise had consistency. So a lot of people might try to take this job search as like, it's got to be fast. I got to get it immediately. I got to go fast. I got to go. But sometimes if you take some time to slow down and really get better at something, or to really get solid at something, or to become a subject matter truly and dearly in a particular subject, that's just going to help you go a lot quicker than having to start over and over again.
Trevor, are you aware we've got 215 people in the room?
Yeah, we're blowing up.
It's all you, my friend. The comments, I so wish the comments were working out, because there's so many funny things here. But I guess what I want to get at is, like, guys, you get more, what is it? You get more bees with honey than vinegar. We got to figure that out.
Yeah.
What I'm saying,
you get more flies. You get more flies with honey than vinegar
than you do with vinegar. Yes, but it also might be bees.
Maybe.
What I'm getting at is that lead with kindness, because I remember every single person that was a insert curse word here to me. I remember every single person. I also documented in my database. The problem is if you're going to be rude to me, you're going to be rude to your team. If I place you at a company, you're going to be rude to your boss. That's the signal that it sends. So I'm grateful that this gentleman, kid, actually, he was a recent graduate, which blew my mind. I am so glad that he talked down to me, because that's one less person I have to worry about. One less person.
Yeah, it's insane to me. Like, you know, I'm trying out different things for social media, right? So I've been trying to do these like little motivational quote things that I've been doing, right, in terms of just another form of content, right, an additional push of motivation. And I commented something, and then someone commented on there. I'm not even going to mention what the comment was, because I don't want to give them the energy, but it was just so childish. And I was just like, if I ever come across you in my career, if I ever see you at a networking event, if you ever reach out to me, I might not give off that, like, I'm not going to respect you, but like, you're never going to get me to go out of my way to help you.
Yeah.
Like, the level, the level that people love to burn bridges, not only in this industry, I feel like it's in this industry, I feel like people are going out of their way to burn bridges. I'm like, for one, who the hell do you think you are? And two, like, you're gonna try to go at someone that's been in this space for 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 years. I don't care if you disagree with them. If someone's been in this space for more than 3 months, props, respect, kudos. You have no idea what it's like to be in this industry. So you treat other people like you want to be treated, and there's no time for it. And it's in this space, people, I'm going to tell you this again, because this is coming from love. People talk. People talk, especially to recruiters.
Yeah.
Like, it's like we're like your therapist. Like, we're like we have you know, the patient client confidentiality in a sense, right? Like, there's stuff that, like, we will never tell anyone else, but like, we know about what's really going on behind that company that looks hunky dunkery on paper. Everything's good, everything's groovy, everything's great. But then we talk to high level managers and senior level people that are just like, yeah, I want to get the heck out of this company as quickly as possible. The culture is toxic. I don't want to be there. And these are like at top notch projects. And you're like, I did not know that. So, like, treat people the way you want to be treated. And I know it sounds corny, but like, the golden rule definitely applies. But, you know, going on their chat group and like calling a recruiter out because they may not have gotten back to you in 0.3 seconds after you sent them an application. Like, dude, you're wasting your time. You're not helping yourself. And other people that are in the industry that put in the time and the hard work to get the other hiring managers that have gone exactly through what you're going through right now, like, they don't feel bad for you. They don't feel bad that you have to apply to a bunch of jobs and interview. They did it. I did it. You did it. Anyone that's successful in this industry at some point did. So, like, why do people feel that they don't have to do the same thing? It's like this really, like, odd paradox. But once again, I think that it just could be an element of our industry that, sometimes you get rich quick, but in this game right here, in the game of getting a job in this space, you definitely got to put your time in for sure.
Want to do a shout out really quickly to our friend Torsten. It sounds like he had a loss in his life, so our condolences there.
Condolences, man.
If you need anything, let us know. But I think what we've taken away from this: lead with kindness. Remember that people are going to remember you, especially if you're negative.
Yep.
And 3, I really think everyone in crypto is doing their best, like genuinely. Like, I think people really are doing their best. And, if someone is not doing it to your standards, they're still doing their best.
Yeah.
I've got to jump to my next interview. Trevor, as I say always, you're incredible. Thank you so much. You're coming up on your 5th year in 2 months.
No, it's 4. I swear it's 4. It keeps saying 4. It feels like 5.
Feels like 5. I really think it's 5.
Maybe.
Wait, let me look at your LinkedIn profile.
It's definitely 4. I'm pretty sure it's 4.
Well, I don't know how I did this without you before.
But we can say it's 5. Before your interview, do you want to bring up our YouTube channel real quick so people can join that? Because we're gonna keep shilling our YouTube channel. We're gonna keep pumping it out there until we get like 1 million subscribers and starts going on autopilot. Uploaded a couple of more recent episodes of my podcast for those that are new here, Just Shilling. We have some other clip that we put on there from our conversation, the one that you're hearing today, and some other previous conversations that Emily and I had. We've got some clips of Bullish On. We've got some other clips. We're going to start putting even some more. That's one of my initiatives to kind of put some more educational content out there as well too. I was doing that, but I want to get back to that and continue to bring value to the space. And like these little clips, especially like if you're a job seeker, for the interviews that I'm having with these people, these are usually like founders, they're movers and shakers. They're like influential people. They're just people that are super well connected. For you, right? Wouldn't it be amazing if you were to reach out to them and say, hey, you know what? I had the opportunity to listen to your podcast with Trevor. Really love that point that you brought up about this. I'm actually looking to, make some inroads or connect with other like-minded people. Would you mind if, we got a chance to connect and see if I can bring you value or to be able to help promote you or to put your project in a better light? Or, I'm a member of this community. Did you know that maybe I can get you some exposure here? Like, never go into it thinking about it as what you're going to get from them. Think about it as what you can give for them. And then at the end of this, like when you start getting to the point where, for one, if you never quit, if you're always the person to never quit, it gets to a point where the only person that you're trying to beat is yourself. The other people don't matter. Like it gets to a point like it's just like this person's never going to stop. They're just never going to stop chasing their dreams. And you have to have that kind of tenacity. But what it also does, right, is like it puts that kind of energy out there and it's creating value. That's a huge word. I'm hearing that a lot more, even in the most recent conversation that I had. It's about value, adding value. You always have to be adding value. And the more that you're adding value, the more that people are going to start noticing you, the more that people are going to start to recommend you, the more that people are going to want to connect with you. Like, I think I'm close to 21,000 connections. Like, before I started doing this, getting in this industry, like I would never gain followers like that, right? But like I'm trying to bring value so many different ways, and I never really go into it thinking about like what am I going to get from it. I just do it to be the best possible version of me, and to help as many people as I possibly can. And I'm starting to kind of reap the rewards of that. People are starting to like refer their friends to me, are like, hey, you know what, I really love your podcast, maybe you can help me I can introduce you to someone in my company about hiring. Like, this is the way that you can all win together. So think about that.
Trevor, you're the best. Everybody, have a wonderful Wednesday. We'll see you next week. You need us. You know where to find us. Don't expect to reply in 13 seconds, but we'll do our best. All right, guys. Take care.